Good morning. I'm Halina Goldberg. I'm a professor of musicology in the Jacobs School of Music and the director of the Russian and East European Institute in Hamilton Lugar School of International and Global Studies. So it is very fitting for me to be a part of this event that brings together our two schools. It's my joy to welcome the guests assembled in this room, but also the guests who are on our live stream, hopefully around the world. I also would like to welcome our participants who just braved the bad weather in Bloomington to get here, but also who have come here from across the ocean. We welcome you here and look forward to hearing your presentations throughout the day. Please make sure that that you will join us for the concert in the evening. This is the Jacobs School of Music part of this program. We'll have an amazing concert of Bartók's music at 8 p.m. Before I turn to the floor to the next speaker, I just want to briefly recognize the several teams of people who contributed to this, to putting together this event. So Lindsay Gratchfield and Taylor Nassim Stone, both of whom work for REEI, who have helped with publicity and a number of other tasks. Karen Rees and her team at IU conferences, Kati Carnaggio and her team at Jacobs Event Services, Tony Landman and Tony Taddy with their teams at Jacobs IT Services. They are currently helping with streaming. And then I would like to acknowledge several colleagues who helped in planning various aspects of this event, including Lynn Hooker and Valeria Varga, Veronica Trotter, Misty Shaw, all of whom help with different segments of the event. Misty Shaw works for the Music Library, and if you have a moment, Music Library will open at 12 o'clock. Misty and her team put together a small exhibit of Bartók's music and memorabilia. Bela Bartók actually visited Indiana University in 1942, so that exhibit shows some of the items. And if you did not notice, there is a small framed letter of Bartók's that is on the conference table. Please take a note of it. That paper, that letter, and a couple of other documents that are reproduced in the program are originals, and they are owned by the SUS department in HLS. So I also would like to acknowledge the supporting unit, the Hungarian Studies program in the Department of Central Eurasian Studies, the Robert F. Barnes Russian and East European Institute, Inner Asian and Uralic National Resource Center, Department of Musicology, and the Jacobs School of Music. It is now my pleasure to introduce John Ciorciari, who is the Dean of the Hamilton Lugar School, and I want to invite John here to welcome you. Thank you.
Thank you, Halina, and welcome to all of you to this wonderful occasion, a conference on the 80th anniversary of Bela Bartók's passing. As Halina mentioned, Bartók had, of course, fled to the United States during the Second World War and had visited Indiana University in 1942. I do hope that you'll take a look at the Indiana Daily Student page that was in the program. You'll see that Bartók's visit didn't receive quite as much prominence as a beauty pageant that was happening on campus that day, but nonetheless, in hindsight, was a major event of cultural significance for Indiana. And I hope you'll also be able to visit the exhibit in the music library down the hall that Halina described. As we all know, Bartók was a legendary composer and pianist, one of the greatest of the 20th century, as well as one of the pioneers of ethnomusicology. And in fact, it's my understanding that It was his careful study and his appreciation of Hungarian, of Slovak, of Romanian, of Bulgarian, and other folk music that gave his composition so much of its originality and its greatness. In that sense, Bartók was a musical genius who wanted to understand people. He wanted to understand the cultures, the traditions, the values, and the passions that shone through in their folk melodies, and to incorporate that in his own great composition. His work was therefore something of a marriage between music and area studies, even if the area, as he defined it, was one that was quite proximate to his own place of upbringing. And today's conference and tonight's concerts are just wonderful examples of how Indiana University embodies that same connection, a place where outstanding study and performance of music meet deep appreciation for culture and area studies. And this program that you'll enjoy today reflects the rich cross-campus collaboration between the various units that Halina mentioned. The Hungarian Studies program, of course, central among them, a program that has been strong and internationally recognized for decades, in part because it's been able to engage with and benefit from the expertise and the interests of scholars across the many other units on campus that are co-sponsoring today's events. Of course, the Hungarian Studies program is located within the Department of Central Eurasian Studies, itself internationally renowned for the study of the region. Of course, the world-famous Jacobs School of Music and the Department of Musicology, the Inter-Asian and Uralic National Resource Center, which is one of a number of different area studies departments that are funded by the U.S. federal government and other sources to ensure that we're educating our students in a way that demonstrates the same kind of appreciation and passion for understanding people in their localities and their cultures and histories that Bartók's composition so embodied. And last but not least, of course, our Robert F. Burns Russian and East European Institute, which is among those area studies centers that I mentioned, certainly one of the most distinguished of our various area studies centers and closely connected to today's themes as well. So I'm really grateful to Halina, to Laszlo, to everyone on staff, and to those of you who have traveled near and far to come to put this event together and to make it possible. I also want to extend a special welcome to the Consul General of Hungary, Dr. Balázs Mártonffy, who for joining us on this special occasion. In a moment, I'd like to welcome him to the podium to share a few remarks of his own. Consul General Mártonffy has a long history in the United States, having gotten his PhD at American University and having studied a number of other leading U.S. universities. He also has held a number of important roles in the Hungarian foreign ministry, both in headquarters and in other locations, having worked on a range of issues pertaining to security, defense, cultural exchange, and general diplomacy. He brings a tremendous depth of understanding to the importance of cultural exchange and educational exchange of this kind, himself a scholar who has written numerous books, but he also very much appreciates the connection to Indiana University. I believe this is the second visit, even in the brief term of 6 months when he's been representing Hungary in Chicago across the Midwest region. And so I would like to invite Consul General Mártonffy to come forward and share a few thoughts of his own on this auspicious occasion. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. I'm a little less tall than Dean Ciorciari, so I'll put the mic a little lower. And thank you all for being here today. And it's a little challenging weather, but I think the topic of today's conversation and today's conference and then the concert really raises our spirits. And after that very generous introduction by Dean Ciorciari, all that's left for me to do is offer a few words of welcome and a few choice works of remarks as to what I think is important between the Indiana and Hungarian ties, which are so well exemplified by Indiana University and all the great stuff you do over here. It is a great pleasure to stand before you and offer a few words of welcome on behalf of the Consulate General of Hungary in Chicago as well. As Dean Ciorciari mentioned, this is my second time over here, and every time I come here, I see the great strength of your community, the great work that you do, the great ideas that not only exist in the abstract, but become in the particular and take stance and become what we see here today. It is also a pleasure to congratulate and commend the organizers of the 36th György Hungarian Studies Conference in memoriam Béla Bartók. And let me also recognize the collaboration between the Hamilton Lugar School and the Jacob School of Music and their deans, Dean Ciorciari and Bush, and the academic units who I've met many of the representatives of yesterday, without whom this could not have become a feasibility. So let me recognize the Hungarian Studies program in the Department of the Central Eurasian Studies, the Robert F. Burns Russian and East European Institute, the Inner Asian and Uralic National Resource Center, and the Jacob School of Music with the departments of musicology and faculty from string and piano departments. And I've had great conversations with you yesterday, and I look forward to engaging with you more throughout the day today. And let me congratulate all of you and also Professor László Borhi for putting together this conference. This is a great commemoration of Béla Bartók's life and work. And as a Hungarian diplomat, it is great to see the cooperation between Indiana and Hungary, as we've just inaugurated a new Hungarian honorary consul in Indianapolis earlier this year. She will be doing work on a number of different fronts, including educational exchanges, so you will have someone closer to Indiana University in Indianapolis than just the Consulate General in Chicago. I also know that there are quite a few Hungarian students here at Indiana University, 14 visiting Hungarian scholars, and over 60 IU students in Hungary who do study abroad in Hungary. This is all great for us because the Hungarian government places a high emphasis on increasing academic mobility through direct relations with universities, of course, but also through governmental programs, including the vendégoktató for Hungarian culture. We have an exchange researcher here at the university, which is a great way of fostering Hungarian language and inter-university exchanges. And I know all of you know Béla Bartók much better than I do. So I would not delve too deeply into what he means and what his music work and what his work means and what his music means. But I did bring a quote that I found particularly useful and which connects foreign policy and Bartók. So I'll read that to you in Hungarian and then try to give you the gist of that in English. A kelet és a nyugat szintézisét akartuk megteremteni. Úgy gondoltuk, hogy alkalmasunk vagyunk a feladat elvégzésére, részint népünk származása, részünk hazánk földrajzi helyzete folytán, amely egyben a kelet előretölt őrhelye és a nyugat védőbástyája. And this is a quote about how Bartók is trying to synthesize the East and the West. And the end of the quote says that Hungary is, or the Hungarian people, the Hungarian nation, and those concepts overlap but aren't quite always the same, as we know with a sizable Hungarian diaspora here in the United States, that the Hungarian nation and the state of Hungary is the forward post of the East, but the guardian bastion of the West, all at once. And this is a great concept in the abstract, but as Hungarian diplomats in the United States, it's a little challenging to provide this in practice. But this is what we do. And I think this is still one of the perennial questions of Hungarian foreign policy, is how to get this excellent abstract idea down into practice. Luckily, these events over here, when I can assist with academic exchanges and highlight the importance of great conferences like you do today, is just the boon of my work. So it is a great pleasure to be here today. And I wanted to wish you all an excellent conference and a great concert. And thank you so much for inviting me. And have a lovely day. Thank you.